Microdesk received a request to demonstrate some TI work using BIMrx. And BIMrx is going to be perfect for that. When I think of TI, I think of fire suppression as being the biggest time waste. That's our biggest opportunity to speed up the process. And that happens namely because there's a lot of existing to remain pipe, and we might have a lot of return bends that we need to connect into heads that are on new locations. And we've got tools specifically that are going to speed that up. And first I want to show some of the more general tools and how they can help out in a TI project. The intent, of course, of BIMrx is to recreate the speed and efficiency of the old AutoCAD power users inside of Revit, but without reinventing the wheel. And when I think of the old AutoCAD power users, they're heavily relying on keyboard shortcuts, and they're doing a lot of copying and pasting to reuse work that's already been done. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to take an existing pipe, and I'm going to use Revit's copy command to place a copy of that. And at the same time, I'm going to work in a 3D view so I can see exactly what's going on and there are no surprises for me. Okay. So BIMrx has tools that are going to make moving, connecting, and aligning very, very easy. And in this case, I've got a branch line that I need to elbow right and then down into an existing head. So what I'm going to do is use an elbow right command from BIMrx that assumes the user is looking down towards the end of the pipe, and it draws a bend in the right direction. And there's a similar command called elbow down, which is going to do the same thing in the downward direction. BIMrx has a command called move and connect, which allows me to click on the head and then click on the drop. It'll stretch the pipe and move the drop so that the two attach where they're supposed to. Okay. I can use that same kind of workflow in the opposite direction back to the main. I can use an elbow up command to draw a short pipe up. And then I can use BIMrx's align branch command, which allows me to click on the main and click on the drop. And it's going to move that vertical so that it intersects with the main, and I can use an extend command to cut it in. But working in 3D, I see that I haven't given myself enough vertical drop, so I'm going to just use the properties to bring that down a little bit, and now I can use Revit's extend command to cut that in with a T. If we've got pipe on the other side, then I can take the elbow and I can convert it into a T, and I'm going to use BIMrx's bloom command, which allows me to click on a pipe or a fitting or a family, and it's going to extend duct in pipe out of every connection. So maybe to make myself, to sort of simplify things, I'm just going to take that pipe and stretch it out just a little bit. And now let me go back to a floor plan for a second, and we're going to talk about some of these tools for drawing the return bend pipe. Okay. Microdesk has a command called draw arm over, which allows me to click on the head, and I can click on the main or the branch, and it's going to draw an arm over or a return bend right to the point where I clicked. If I run the command again and I want it to click over here, okay, it's going to draw that exactly where I click. Okay. Similarly, we've got a variation of the command called draw perpendicular arm over, which allows me to click on the head and click on the pipe, and now regardless of where I click, it's always going to be perpendicular to the branch that I click on. Okay. Then we've got commands for drawing multiple arm overs. So if I run my command, I can draw a selection window around all of the heads that I want to connect. I click on the main, and the command's going to draw arm overs attached to, or return bends attached to all of those heads. Okay, we can do it on the other side as well. They work in plan view or in 3D. I click on the head, I click on the branch, okay, and then we connect into. Okay. Now, for me, as I said earlier, the biggest challenge with TI projects is the fact that I've got I've got these T's that are in the branches that are going to remain, but my heads are going to move because of the ceiling changes. So BIMrx has a command called move head. I think it's called move sprinkler one click. I click on the sprinkler, and I click on the location that I want it to go to. And it's going to rotate exactly the way they would do in the field, exactly what these return bends are intended for. It's going to rotate the return bend around the T and then move the head exactly where I want it to go. So I can do that anywhere and with any length of pipe. There's a variation on that command once again, which is called move sprinkler 2 clicks. The intent being that oftentimes we need to center these heads on a ceiling tile. So I can click on the head and I can pick the two kitty corner points on the ceiling tile, and it's going to do something like AutoCAD's old M2P command. It calculates the midpoint between the 2 points that I clicked on. If I run that again, we could do something like that, and it's going to calculate the exact center of the ceiling tile and rotate that pipe around. Okay. With fire suppression, we are always rerouting pipe around the other trades. So BIMrx has some tools that are going to make that a little bit easier as well. We've got a command called reroute over and under, which allows me to click on a pipe in 2 locations, and it allows me to select an offset. So maybe I want to come down a foot with 90-degree elbows, and it's going to help me very easily reroute around obstacles, and if I like those defaults. It can do the same on mains as well. So maybe I can click 2 points on the main, and maybe in this case I want to come up and over an obstacle. The command will do that. And then oftentimes with these grooved couplings, we might want to nest an elbow directly into one of the grooved couplings. So let me come in and delete that. I'm going to reuse the move and connect command to close that gap. Okay, we could have gone in the other direction as well. The second object is always going to move to the first. So now we can get those fittings connected right into one another. We can also use these same workflows to do more complicated sort of pipe routing. So maybe we want to rotate this elbow 90 degrees. So we're going to use a BIMrx command to do that, rotate fitting. I'm going to use BIMrx's bloom command to extend pipe out. I'm going to use BIMrx's elbow left command to put a bend in pointing left, and then I'm going to use Revit's trim command to connect these two together. Now of course if these aren't aligned, I can use BIMrx's align branch command, and then I can trim them together without any problem. Or if we wanted to make this more complicated for ourselves, I can undo a couple steps. I can elbow down. I can elbow left here. I can align these two guys together and trim them together. So many of the commands on BIMrx, they're deceptively simple, but that was the intent. Aligning, connecting, extending. The intent was that these tools can be used in all sorts of different scenarios. So if also we're talking about TI, then the bloom command would extend duct and pipe out all of the connectors on a VAV box as an example. All of the align commands and the connect commands work on duct and conduit as well as they do on pipe. And then later on too, maybe you're in an HVAC system, you're in a plumbing system, and you're bringing your pipe up to the reheat coil or to a lavatory, and you don't want to make the connection. You just want to be on a floor plan and put an elbow down. Well, BIMrx now has a keyboard shortcut to put that drop in, so I no longer have to click on the 3 or 4 buttons, 6 or 7 button clicks that it takes to put that drop down. So for every time I need to do a supply and return pipe, domestic hot water, recirc, and cold water, all we have to do is, like, we put the 3 pipes in, elbow down, elbow down, elbow down. We don't make the connections, and the work is simply done. Okay. So I hope this demonstrates the power of BIMrx. If there are any more questions, then reach out to Microdesk, and we'd be happy to demonstrate any situation you'd like to see. Thank you.